All right, so co-hosting with me this evening is Anissa Radford, and before I have her introduce herself, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Liz Combs, and I am the Director of Undergraduate Studies here at the University of Kentucky in the Department of Dietetics and Human Nutrition. And we'll talk about those two majors in just a little bit, get a lay of the land, get to hear about success stories from our students, courses that you might take, experiences you might have, and then we'll turn it over to our student panel, and you can ask them direct questions. I also have some questions to ask them in case we need some thrown in there. But we are really thrilled that you're able to join us, even in these kind of strange times in this weird format. But if you have any questions throughout the whole evening, just go ahead and put them in the chat box and we'll be happy to address them. We're anticipating this evening to be about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. So if you need to hop off before then, we are, again, so glad that you could join us. So Anissa, would you mind introducing yourself? And then we'll let other faculty introduce themselves as well.
Absolutely, glad to. So hello, everyone. I'm Anissa Radford. I'm the academic coordinator in our department. And when you come to UK in either the dietetics or the human nutrition major, I'll get the opportunity to be your academic advisor. And when you attend the Big Blue Nation orientation, so everyone, I think that's the new name of the Sea Blue U, Big Blue Nation orientation, which is held this summer before your fall classes begin. You and I will meet and discuss classes to take that fall. We'll discuss your major even more at that time, and I'll help you navigate being a successful college student. And so feel free to reach out and we can set up an individual Zoom meeting to kind of discuss what a first semester might look like and beyond. And I'm so excited that you've chosen to come to UK and major in dietetics or human nutrition. And I very much look forward to getting to know you. Thanks.
Thank you, Anissa. And we are really lucky to have an academic coordinator in our department that can be that guide for you as you come to UK and get kind of situated in that front. The next on my screen, that's a faculty member, Aaron Schwartz. Would you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, yes, I'm Aaron. I am a faculty member. I've been here since 2014. I'm the dietetic internship director, and I teach some of the senior level dietetic courses. I'm a registered dietitian, so I teach medical nutrition therapy and quantity food production. I team teach that with Chef Bob Perry, who you're gonna meet here in just a second. But it's a restaurant class, so we run a restaurant. It's a lot of fun. It's so great to see so many people that are interested, and you guys are in a great position. We're really excited for you. One thing I'll say about our department is that you're going to feel supported. Our faculty members love our students. So, and I think you'll hear that from some of our alums. Yeah, so that's a quick intro for me.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. And I will turn it over to Chef Bob then, since you kind of gave a little bit of an intro. So Chef Bob, thank you for joining us.
Great. Hi, everyone. I teach the lemon tree, as Aaron said, and I do a lot of local food research. One thing we did 14 varieties of pumpkin. So we did a taste test and made a half a dozen pies with. We've also done a lot of wheat research lately, and that's ended up, we bought a grain mill for the department, and we actually mill our own flour to make the bread every day in the lemon tree. So I look forward to you guys coming to UK, and best of luck.
Again, that's another unique opportunity that we have. And did you even know you could do research on things like peppers and flour and all kinds of cool stuff? So Chef Bob is a good asset for our department that you might not get to experience in some other programs as well. Another opportunity that we have a PA that is within our faculty that teaches quite a few of our classes, but then also works on the clinical side. And a lot of our students have the opportunity to get to work with her, shadow her, and volunteer. So Jessica, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi, I'm Jessica Houlihan, and faculty in the department. Been here since I think January of 2016. And so I teach the senior level, kind of last year level for research methodology for human nutrition. So if you're in human nutrition, you'd have me for a year for that. And then the culinary medicine class that's open to all of our students. And then when I'm not, and then I have the shadowing class that I take a few students each semester, and then they can come over. I work in the Department of Pediatrics, and they can come over and shadow with me in the clinic. We're still doing that now, even, with COVID, and they get to experience, what it's like, in terms of being a PA and kind of my role there. So I really look forward to seeing you guys. And if you're definitely, especially if you're pre-PA or something like that, please reach out to me.
Thank you, Professor Houlihan. All right, next up on my screen is Professor Jackson.
Hi guys, I am Yolanda Jackson, and I'm also alumni from the Department of Dietetics and Human Nutrition. I got my Bachelor's of Science and Master's from the department, so it's like coming back home when I got a job here in 2016. So I teach the Principles of Food Preparation class. So we teach you like all the principles and the science behind food preparation. So you'll learn to cook just about everything before you get to Mr. Schwartz and Chef Bob. So you guys will learn lots about cooking. And I also teach one of the M&T classes. Prior to coming to the department, I was a clinical dietitian working in the ICU at UK Good Samaritan Hospital. So I am very passionate about M&T and clinical. So you'll have me first in M&T before you have Mr. Schwartz. And I also do the internship M&T classes as well. So I'm also the faculty advisor for the Student Dietetic Association, and we try to do volunteering service and networking and get you guys prepared and ready to apply for internships. So hopefully when you guys come to UK and you join our department, you'll also join the Student Dietetic Association. I look forward to meeting you all soon.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. And next on my screen is Dr. Luking, and Dr. Luking is an extension professor here within our department. And so I'm going to let her describe a little bit of her scope and her practice because it's unique here.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you and meet you. So my name is Courtney Luking, and I started in our department last year. So crazy transition, right? I am a registered dietitian by training, and I've worked in community settings like public health department clinics and with the Women, Infants, and Children program, which is a federally funded program to support nutrition for prenatal and postpartum women, as well as infants and children. I've worked in clinical settings, not as much as Miss Jackson, but I got a little sprinkling of that. And then most of my work has been in the research realm. So clinical research, but now I'm in more of a community preventive health position. And as Dr. Combs indicated, I have an extension appointment. So we have a cooperative extension. The University of Kentucky is what is known as a land grant institution. So we really have a trifold focus on service and teaching and research. And I get to do all three of those things in extension, and we facilitate translation of research, so nutrition research in our terms, to the people. So we work with our agents across the state to develop and deliver health-related programming, and I specifically focus on the prenatal to preschool period, so ensuring that our littlest ones have a healthy start. So yeah, I get to do a little bit of everything. I also teach a class on obesity and food insecurity, and it's a cell to society approach. So that's an elective you could take when you're here. And I also get to work with students in kind of a volunteer research capacity as well. So I would love to meet you all. If you have questions, I won't be able to stay on the whole time, but if you have questions about anything I said, I'll drop my email in the chat and you can reach out to me.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Luking. I think that Kendra Wu is next on my screen, and Kendra has a really fantastic job, and she's also an alum of our program.
Hi, everyone. This is Kendra. I am also an alum of both bachelor's and master's from the department. It's so nice to see everyone. My role here in the department is the director of community outreach. And I also serve as the assistant director for the coordinator program. And so with the director of community outreach role, I basically connect students with a lot of hands-on engagement opportunities that you can gain during your college years. And it could be shadowing, it could be just simply doing volunteer work or leadership opportunities, or maybe even some research opportunities that I can try to connect with other faculty members and any of that. And so that's a little bit of what I do. I do teach, I'm a part of a certificate in food systems and hunger studies. And so as part of that, I do teach a seminar in hunger studies in spring. And then in the summer, I teach a online Intro to Nutrition course. And so that's a little bit of what I do and what I'm here for all of you who might be joining to the department. Obviously, I'm happy to meet and talk about ways that you can get involved. And then later on a little bit, I have some time that I will be sharing some opportunities that you can get involved with and to help you kind of be successful, have a successful year and be a great candidate when you are ready to get on to the next level. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kendra. And I think just as you hear from the professional staff and the faculty members, hopefully you can see that we're much more beyond just the classroom walls, and we have a lot of opportunities to invest in you, and then for you to get to invest in the community and enrich your experience while you're here. So we have another professional staff member, and is Renee Fox, and Renee's kind of the background person here helping us things run smoothly today. And then we have Maddie Dunn and Michaela Thompson, and they are with our more recruitment side of things. So Maddie or Michaela, do either of y'all want to say hi?
Yeah, I can start. My name is Michaela. I'm a graduate assistant. I'm actually getting my master's in sports psychology here, but I work with the Center of Student Success to help recruit future Wildcats like yourselves. So any questions that you may have that may be kind of more directed towards the application process or kind of more college specific and not as program specific, I can help out with those. So thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you. Uh-oh, Maddie, for some reason it's not coming through. It says you're unmuted, but.
How about now?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, that keeps happening today. So like Dr. Combs said, my name is Maddie Dunn. I'm actually still an undergraduate here at the University of Kentucky and in the Dietetics and Human Nutrition program. So I am a nutrition major, but I work with Michaela and the Director of Student Relations, Wayne Centers, to just work with you guys, like possible future Wildcats, and answer any questions that you may have about, like Michaela said, the application process or just life as a Wildcat in general. That's what I'm here for. So I'm excited to get to talk to you guys.
Well, thank you so much. And Maddie's in the throes of the end of the semester right now. So it is really kind of her to give her time tonight. Oh, she got some coffee already. Oh boy. But any questions at all for the faculty members from their introductions, because they are going to hop off here and have their evening. But if there are any questions for any of the faculty members, if you wouldn't mind, just put them in the chat box and we can certainly address them now before they get scoot out for the evening. And I know that Courtney put her email in there, which is very helpful as well, in case anybody wants to reach out. And we'll certainly have our contact information at the end of the evening too. All right. Well, faculty and professional staff, thank you all so much for giving your time tonight and welcoming our prospective students. And if anything else comes your way, definitely we can reach out to you guys. So thank you all so much and have a good night, faculty and staff. All right, so we had one more faculty member that could not be with us tonight because she has an evening class on Thursday, so a pretty good excuse, I would say. But I'm going to share my screen and play her 45-second welcome video as we go forward. So let's see if I can get this to work.
Hello, I'm Dr. Julie Frasencia. I am a faculty here in the Department of Dietetics and Human Nutrition, and I'm also the director of the didactic program in dietetics. I'm originally from Texas, but I have lived in Michigan, Nevada, and now I live here in Lexington. I'm a registered dietitian, and I had the opportunity to work as a clinical dietitian, an outpatient dietitian, and a community nutrition specialist prior to becoming a professor. As a director of the didactic program in dietetics, you will get to know me. I will guide you through the process of applying for dietetic internships, which is a step you need just before becoming a registered dietitian. If you are passionate about food and health, dietetics might be the right major for you. I look forward to seeing you in class someday.
So again, that was Dr. Frasencia, and while she has class this evening, she does wish that she could be here with us. So we're going to go through some of the more logistical side of things. You've heard a lot of words like dietetics and human nutrition, and while they sound kind of the same, they're going to actually take you on two quite different paths.
I'm very excited to talk with you about the human nutrition major, and this is a fantastic preparation or a springboard for graduate school or other professional schools. And I'm going to probably sort of share comments that Dr. Combs just shared with us as far as like graduate school and what students can do with that. And most commonly, our students who pursue graduate school with this degree earn, as Dr. Combs said, a master's in healthcare administration, or a master's in like public health or health promotion or kinesiology. And you may have heard Dr. Combs say law school, and that is certainly a route. We did have one of our recent grads, to use her degree to go to law school for public policy. But most notably, our students that pursue human nutrition go on to professional school. So again, as Dr. Combs was saying, you can think of almost any healthcare profession, and we've had students in the past that have been in that track and successful when applying to those schools. So typically students use this major to go to medical school or PA school. And you met Professor Houlihan earlier. Professor Houlihan is one of our grads, and she used her degree to go on to PA school. You can do pharmacy, optometry, dentistry, PT. So this really is a pre-prep program for professional school, and that's quite a mouthful. But if we look at the next slide, we'll see one of the reasons that this major is excellent for going on to those healthcare programs. And that's because the courses in our major align beautifully with prerequisites for med school or pharmacy or any of those healthcare programs. So the human nutrition major requires biology, a couple of semesters of biology and microbiology, general chemistry and labs, organic chemistry and labs, as well as anatomy and physiology. So this is a very science-based program. But one of the many things that sets this major apart from other like pre-professional majors is that you'll take nutrition courses. And when you're working with your future patients or clients, you'll be able to help them understand how their diet, how the food they eat, their physical activity, and so forth, how all of that impacts their overall health and well-being. And if you look at some of the advanced courses in this major, you'll take a course in food preparation, where you can actually apply some of that chemistry that you're learning and see how chemistry impacts the food that you're preparing. And that's one of the courses Professor Jackson teaches. She mentioned that to us earlier. You'll take a course in biochemistry, which is important for medical school or pharmacy. But our course introduces it to you in a nutritional framework, which, in my opinion, makes it more practical and interesting than just a general biochemistry. You'll take a couple of courses that Dr. Combs teaches, and I'm sure she'll share with us a little bit more about them. But courses learning about nutritional needs of people throughout their whole lifespan, from little babies all the way to older adults. And we value research. So you will be taking courses that teach you research theory and application. And we'll encourage you to do some other research along the way as well. So perhaps working with faculty in our department and joining their research projects. So what are some characteristics of human nutrition majors? Well, think about what attributes you would expect out of your healthcare providers, your doctor, your dentist, etc. And this slide lists many of those traits. And while comprising all of these characteristics, I think one of the overarching themes that I hear students say when they choose the human nutrition major is that they have a deep desire to help people. And our recent graduates have those characteristics, that desire to help others. So, for example, Gloria used her degree to go to PA school. I believe she's maybe third year in at this point. Dr. Combs is shaking her head, yes. Dr. Sarah used her human nutrition background to go to medical school. Heba's calling is optometry. And Sam is one of several of our graduates to go on to dental school. Because if you think about it, good nutrition is so important for like healthy teeth and gums. And Sam is able to have a deeper understanding of that when working with his patients. So the human nutrition major can be used to pave the way for so many different options in terms of graduate school or careers in the health field. And you don't necessarily have to know right now what area of healthcare you plan to serve in. As long as you start off in this major or in dietetics, you'll be getting those basic prerequisite classes for any healthcare field.
So we're going to turn it over to our alumni panelists and current student panelists. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves first, kind of say where they are in their path, and then we'll open it up to you all for questions. And if you don't have questions, that's perfectly fine. I have some for them. And if by chance you'd like to either unmute yourself or if you would like to turn your camera on, we welcome you to do that, but by no means is that a requirement. So first I'm gonna have Alex introduce himself, give a little bit of his background and say where he is currently.
Hey everybody, yeah, my name's Alex, as Liz mentioned. I am a coordinated student graduate. And I have a long story short. I was a returning student and started off studying languages and other majors, and ultimately went back to school for dietetics. And yeah, went through my time there, and I actually graduated recently this year. So I graduated the internship this August and started really heavily applying to jobs and going through that. And I just got a job about a month ago in Maine, actually. And it's kind of funny, I grew up in Kentucky all my life and I'm in the Northeast now. But I'm in Maine right now working for FNAP, and that stands for Expanded Food and Nutrition Program. It's a federal nutrition program, and they work through and are administered through Extension. I know some of you have heard that a little bit. I still even have a hard time describing Extension to people and FNEP to people, but basically what I do is I'm a supervisor to educators that go out into the county and give nutrition education. So like I've had a lot of experience obviously through the internship and prior to the internship giving education to clients and people, and having that experience really I feel like helped me want to be in this supervisory role. As kind of intimidating as it is, it's been amazing. And if you guys do have any questions, feel free to let me know, because I'm more of a community nutrition kind of guy. That's what I wanted to do, and then I ultimately ended up really doing that. So if you guys have any questions, do shoot them my way. Does that cover anything? Do you want?
Oh no, Alex, that is absolutely perfect for the intro. Thank you so much. Next up, Brandon.
All right, hello. My name is Brandon Pearson, and I am also a kind of non-traditional student currently in the didactic program, DPD program at UK. I have a food science bachelor's from UK from 2014, worked in the craft beer and alcohol industry, and then had a change of heart and values, and moved back to Kentucky from Colorado to enter the DPD program. So I currently am finishing up my last semester here at UK, sadly mostly virtual, but it's been a really incredible program, and I am really thankful that I went through the University of Kentucky and didn't choose a different program because of, as Kendra was talking about, all of the opportunities that are available, and so many opportunities through different faculty. People are always asking for help, for work and volunteer opportunities. And while I've been at UK, I have been able to work at the Food Connection through UK Dining. I currently do some research under Dr. Brewer in our department, doing some kind of community research, developing programming for extension, looking at the environment and diet and nutrition and how that's tied together, which has been really, really neat, especially being able to do that virtually. I will be going through UK's internship program starting in January. So I'm not coordinated program, but I'm on kind of the similar track as someone that would be coordinated, even though I had to apply to the internship separately, which is kind of cool as well. And I'll be completing that next August. Is there anything else you want me to throw in there?
Well, that was a fantastic, and yeah, get ready, right? Because January is coming for us, and you're going to be sent all over the state and get to experience some really awesome things during your internship. So we can talk about that later. All right, so next up is our human nutrition recent graduate, Emily. Emily, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little about where you are?
Hey, so I am a human nutrition graduate. I'm currently in PA school here at UK. And yeah, I live here in Lexington for now, but I'm actually getting married and moving in January. So I'm going to commute because COVID, but because we're just here once a week now. But I feel like having the human nutrition major definitely set me apart from a lot of other applicants. And I was asked about it a lot in my interview. And it wasn't just for UK's PA program. I got into several other schools, and it was a part of my interview at every school. They all wanted to kind of talk about it and what I gained from that, and especially my research that we did the last year. The human nutrition does research, and that was a big conversation in each of my interviews as well. But yeah, if anyone is interested in pre-PA, anything like that, definitely reach out to me. I can answer any questions that you need. But yeah, the faculty is amazing and so supportive, and I absolutely loved my time with DHN.
Thank you, Emily. And I can't imagine how you're feeling right now as your semester wraps up. A little bit intense, right?
Yeah. So intense. That's ridiculous.
But I know you're going to succeed there. The last individual on our panel is Hayley Jones, and Hayley is a current human nutrition major, getting close to graduation. So Hayley, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everybody. I'm Hayley Jones. Like she said, I'm a current human nutrition student. I'm also on the pre-medical track. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so that's about 4 or 5 hours from Lexington. And I actually originally, when I came in, I wasn't a part of the DHN program. I was actually biology. And the reason why I wanted to switch, not that biology wasn't great for pre-med, but I also wanted to do something different, but still related to pre-med. And I thought human nutrition was a really great major to get into, because as I've gone through this program, I've really learned that nutrition is one of the main things that, of course, keeps people healthy, and maybe the reason why some people experience some of the conditions that they experience. So it's a really great program. I've learned so much, and I don't think I would have learned that in biology. And like Emily said, the faculty is great. Every single teacher I've met, I still remember, and they're so nice. And Miss Dr. Combs and everybody, they're just really great. And if you're a part of this program, I'm sure you're going to experience the same type of love and appreciation, and they really want you to succeed. So I hope that was enough.
No, that was perfect, Hayley. And I think one area that's kind of unique with our department too is when you sit in a classroom everybody has kind of different goals and a different background and a different place where they see them going forward. And I know exactly where you sit in 312 and 313, and getting to think of those people that sit around you, you know, you're all kind of going in different directions, but you could still learn from each other too. And that was kind of a cool thing about having this wide variety of future professions in each class that you have. It's really kind of interdisciplinary. So any questions from our prospective students for anybody on our panel? And I'll kind of let that be for just a moment in December, and you can either unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat box. And if nobody has one to get started, I'll be sure to throw one out there. I will start asking, and I'm going to go in backwards order. So Hayley, you're going to be on the spot first. But let's say that you had a younger sibling who was coming down the pike and they wanted to come to UK. Can you give maybe one clear answer on why they should choose DHN? And maybe you already addressed some of it, but you know, what would be one piece of advice you'd have them if they wanted to come here? Why should they choose DHN?
For one word, I would probably say assurance. And that's kind of weird, but I guess you could say assurance in all types of ways. Assurance that you will succeed, assurance that you'll have faculty and teachers that will care for you throughout your entire 4 years here. Assurance that you'll meet people that you will see every day, because sometimes in your big classes, you won't see the same people after you go through the course. So people that you'll continue to go throughout all 4 years with. Assurance that you will have a future outside of the DHN program, and that they will make sure that you have somewhere to go. So,
oh, thank you. That was, I feel like so inspired when I hear that stuff. I'm like, yes, that's true. Emily, do you have a piece of advice, or if somebody was coming up, a younger sibling, that if you could say why to be in DHN?
I would definitely say it's like a family. I have a lot of my friends that were in DHN with me, but also it's so organized. And I've experienced a program that's not as organized before, and having the faculty that's there that knows what's going on, that supports you, like it makes a huge difference. So yeah, I honestly can't say enough good things about DHN, and I swear they didn't tell me to act like this, but I literally miss it so much. I loved it so much. So yeah, it's definitely like a family. You'll have great support, and like half of my friends were dietetics majors, so like it's not just like I only hang out with human nutrition people. But yeah, and both of those majors are in PA school now too. I will add that in. I have like a couple dietetics majors in my class, and then several human nutritions as well.
Is Leah in your class, Emily?
She is.
All right. So yeah, you guys get to be, that DHN family gets to continue on to a certain extent.
Yep.
That's awesome. Brandon, if you had a younger sibling, what would you say to them about why DHN?
So I would first agree with Emily and say, yes, I have been in another program before, and I would say that the DHN department is very, very close-knit, very helpful, hands-on, and available, which you will not find in every department. And a lot of the faculty are younger, which has a huge impact on, they're bringing in new ideas, new research, new technology that some departments in general across the universities just aren't there yet, which is really beneficial for your future career. And then also I just really enjoyed the opportunities that were all over campus in general, all of the volunteer opportunities, the ability to work with all different departments and fields across the university by also being in dietetics, because food is a universal language. And so that just like really speaks to me. And that will also follow me in my career as well, which I think is really awesome, just how applicable that is.
Thank you. I love what you just said about food, because it's so true, isn't it? And last but not least for that question, Alex, what would you tell somebody about why DHN?
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of piggyback off of what a lot of people said about just the feeling of support, but I would also just throw out like connections is the word I think of. You know, like I think like the staff is super helpful, staff and faculty. During my time in the program, whether it was just DHN courses or whether it was the internship or even posts, were always so good at getting you connected with the proper people in the channels and really just helping you succeed. Like, I think there was just so much support, so much help, whether that was like through your coursework and whether that was through your internship or even after. I mean, I hit up Liz and Aaron, a bunch of other faculty about help for the interview process and even questions about my job currently. And they're just a really valuable, useful resource. And I think it really just comes down to that faculty component. It's just a tight-knit, supportive group of people that are really there to want to watch you succeed. So.
It also helps that we have phenomenal students. And that is the truth. Like when people say, oh, I can't believe you work with college students. What's that like? And I'm like, I feel so lucky because our students are those that want to invest. And I just think that we have just a phenomenal student body who's passionate about what they're studying, passionate what they're doing, and driven. And so, yes, you're right, Alex. Once you become part of that DHN family, whether you like it or not, you're not really going to get away from us. And so we'll be there to help you every step of the way. So there are a couple questions in the chat box that I think we're going to answer, but I'm going to throw one more question out there for the four of you to think about at least. And it'd be, what is your favorite memory from DHN, or a story you remember, or somebody that you've helped through your volunteer work? You know, what's something really memorable? It could be funny, it could be serious, your favorite memory or most impactful memory. The other question that I have not too much information about, so Michaela, I hope you can help me out on this one. Any information about the Living Learning dorm building for the college?
Yes, I can definitely speak about the Living Learning program. We also often call that LLP, so you may see that kind of splattered around on the website as well. And I'm not sure if there's anything in particular that you're curious about, but I can kind of give a broad overview. And then if you have any other questions about it, I can go into that more. But essentially, we have a Living Learning program for the entire college. It's called the Bell C. Gunn First Year Program. So that might be some places. It's also sometimes named the Ag LLP. So depending on what part of the website you're looking at, I think it may have a different name. But essentially, it's an opportunity for you to live on campus as a first-year student with other students who are interested in similar things. So we have 4 different tracks, and so it's a great opportunity. You get lots of different experiences with industry opportunities, with networking events. It's right now it's a little different because of COVID-19, but we traditionally we're a college that loves food. And then of course, in this program, food is a central part of this program. And so we love to have opportunities that involve tasting food and experiencing food and getting you outside of that kind of campus bubble to experience the community around Lexington and more broadly. And so then we also have a peer mentor program. So you would be paired with an upperclassman who's just gone through what you've gone through. So you have advice and mentorship from someone who is just in your shoes as an upperclassman. And then also there's a lot of formation of study groups, and you take connected courses. So it's really helpful in forming those healthy study habits as a first-year student. And we've found that students who were in the LLP as first years actually graduate with higher GPAs than those who are not. And I think a lot of that is due to just the study habits that form from living with other students that you're studying with and taking classes with, and you can go and ask them those questions about that homework that you're not sure about or what have you. So there's lots of great opportunities there. And there are also other LLPs and other programs too. So if you want to be involved, but you're not sure that you want to be in the college's LLP, I think all of the LLPs, with the exception of 2, allow students to apply even if you're not actually in that program. So it's a great opportunity to also meet other students and form that community. And I'm seeing the question about freshmen accepted into LP. So I'm not sure exactly what the acceptance rate is. I think that there are about 300 students who get to be in the LLP, and I'm not sure how many who apply. So it's not guaranteed that you apply. I know the early acceptance or the early action deadline for just the university is December 1st. And so if you apply by December 1st, and when you hear back by January 15th, then you can then apply for early action housing, which would help give you a better chance of getting your first choice of housing, whether that's in an LLP or just on campus in general. And that early action housing deadline is February 15th. So let me know if you have any other questions about that. I know I just threw out a lot of information.
No, I think that just sounds so nice to have a little built-in community already when you come. And February 15th, is that when you said the deadline, or is it March 15th?
Yes, February 15th.
February 15th. That is not that far away, believe it or not.
No. And Maddie, were you gonna? Yeah, go ahead, Maddie.
Mind if I add a few more things?
Please.
Yeah, so I know I introduced myself in the beginning, but again, my name is Maddie. I'm an undergraduate student here as well, and I was in the LLP my freshman year, so I just thought that I could add a few things from a personal perspective. So something I do always like to tell future students is that you are not obligated to live in the LLP, and you're not obligated to specifically live in the LLP that's associated with the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment. So for example, of course, we would love you to, and you would meet a ton of other human nutrition and dietetics majors in there too, and that would be an amazing experience, and we totally recommend it. But also, I do like to tell students that, specifically human nutrition students, that you also can live in the healthcare LLP, and that's actually the LLP that I lived in, even though I was still a human nutrition major. It is totally up to you and whatever you feel like you would fit best in. And that really did improve like my overall happiness at UK and my success in my classes. And it did show when I moved away from campus. My GPA didn't do as well when I moved away. So definitely recommend living in the LLPs. And actually the LLP for the College of Ag, Food and Environment is very, very close to campus and where all of your science classes would be, as well as close to the College of Ag, Food and Environment campus. So it's a great location.
Maddie, that is so helpful. Thank you for talking about that and getting to hear your experience. I'm going to put you on the spot real quick, Maddie. Do you have a favorite DHN memory? It's doing that thing again. We can't hear you. I don't know why I did it the second time. Let's try it again.
Yes, now?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
But my favorite memory is actually very random, but it was in DHN 212 with Dr. Stevenson, Intro to Nutrition. And she had, I don't even know how to explain it. It was the vest that had, it was like a 10-pound vest that was like a visual representation of what 10 pounds would look like. And we got to stay after class and try it on. And I think that memory is my favorite just because I think it's a great example of how your professors end up being like your friends and also your mentors. And we stay after class and we talk and they ask how my life is going and what are, what things am I doing right now? And even though it's such a silly memory, I think that shows that they do care and like want to interact with you, plus hands-on learning. So
I think everybody has a favorite Dr. Stevenson memory, and that's the truth there. And I see that Hayley says that she was in the STEMCATS LLP, and it was a really good experience relating to being pre-med. So thanks, Hayley, for sharing that. So if you have any other questions, definitely type them in the chat box. As we start to wrap up, though, I'm going to go back through with the panelists and ask their favorite memory. But if you have any other questions, please put them in there. But otherwise, we're going to hear these. So Alex, what was your most memorable experience?
Oh God, like I have always the hardest time being like, what's your favorite this or that or this? I can't really single everything out, so I have to be very broad. So I'll mention a couple things. I would say, like on a more like kind of like serious note, I think one of the most beneficial things in DHN was the simulations and MNT. I feel like those, you have MNT 1 and MNT 2, they're split up into two semesters and two different semesters. And for each of those, I believe we had 2 simulations. So overall, you're doing about 4 simulations. And at first, like I was pretty nervous about them, but I feel like they're like such a great opportunity and a great preface for the clinical world. Although I'm not in clinical now, it definitely like prepared me for my clinical rotation, which was at a hospital in Lexington. So I think just those simulations, I always like look back to like one of the like highest points of learning and the best way to learn in DHN. Those definitely helped out. I'm going to be cheesy here, but I'm going to say connections and friends. I was a returning student and I legit in the back of my head thought like, oh, I'm never going to meet anybody. I'm just going to be that old guy. But I met like some of the best people that I still talk to this day, probably will for the rest of my life. And I think to piggyback off of that, I think like whatever you're into, whether that's like community nutrition or whether it's like clinical or like sports, you'll find people in your classes that are into that stuff as well. whether it's super specific, super niche, or very broad, like you will find your group of people and people that are into very similar stuff. And then also just some other things. I think a huge component of my DHN experience that helped so much was working outside of class for like organizations like Kendra had alluded to and talked to before. But I think also a good part was I got to spend time out in Eastern Kentucky with Dr. Brewer for a research project. We would just go periodically. So I got to really, I got to talk with people in the community in Eastern Kentucky, and that just changed my whole perspective on just the world, nutrition, how to approach people, how to talk to people, just the effects of poverty, like our systems on people, and also just another one that was more rural, but I worked for kind of like a CSA in Lexington called Fresh Stop Markets for a while, and that was very eye-opening as well. So definitely like get involved, whether that be on campus, through the program, or just out in Lexington or the community in general. Like that, some of that stuff really built me to who I am today and helped me where I am now, especially being a community dietitian. Those were very, very helpful moments. But yeah, sorry, that was a broad workaround.
You're just saying you loved it all, Alex. It was all good, right?
It was all good. It was all good. But yeah, simulations is the most specific I can get.
No, that is helpful. Brandon, would you please share one of your more memorable moments?
So I can't pinpoint exactly one, but Alex mentioned one of them briefly, going out to Whitesburg and Appalachia in Kentucky and rural parts of Kentucky, and getting to see nutrition, health status, and those types of things in different areas outside of the city of Lexington. I also got to see that through Superstar Chef, which was a program that I worked through Extension last summer as well. So those kinds of community outreach opportunities are really awesome. But then in the program, I really liked the science fair, or not science fair, but health fair that I got to help with in my community nutrition class with Dr. Combs, actually in community nutrition. I got to talk to high school age children or adults, young adults, about plant-based nutrition. I am kind of a unique individual in the dietetics department in that I am vegan. And I think it was really awesome that although that's not the traditional curriculum, I was able to talk about that passion of mine in one of my classes and explore that. And that's something that I don't know that a lot of other dietetics programs may not let you do as much, and it was just a really cool opportunity to get to do and get a grade for and be out in the local community as well doing.
I remember that health fair, Brandon, because we got it in right before everything kind of shifted in the spring semester, and it was a really, really fun memory. And I always love getting to see students out in the real world and what that means. So I liked that memory. All right, Emily, would you mind sharing one of your more memorable moments?
Well, first I would say that my favorite class was DHN 510, absolute favorite. It was advanced nutrition, and it really applied a lot to PA school. But my favorite memory was going to FNCE, which mostly dietetics students go to, but I was like one of the weirdo nutrition kids that went to, because all my friends were going, and it was amazing. And I'm just going to show y'all this picture right here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got to get in the cranberry bog, and that was literally like the highlight of my life. But yeah, so it was really fun to get to know professors like outside of school and get to like just learn from all these experts in the field. And it was honestly helpful for being in PA school too. So yeah, that was my favorite memory.
Was that when it was in Boston or Philly, or where were you in the cranberry bog?
That was in DC.
Oh, I was totally off on that one. Okay. I remember they had this huge literal water bog set up and y'all had to put waders on. Is that right?
Yes, and it was my favorite thing ever. Like that was one of the main motivating factors in going, was seeing all my friends do it the year before.
That cracks me up. That is awesome. Thank you, Emily, for sharing that memory. And Hayley, would you please share one of your more memorable moments?
So I was trying to find the one from the health fair too. I had a picture, but I can't find it. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite memories too. That was that was the first time I had got to go out into the community with any class I've ever taken at UK. And so it was really fun. It was a good experience. I got closer with a lot of the people in my group. And to my memory, I think we presented on, what was it, screen time on health or nutrition? I forgot which one, but it was definitely screen time. It was a lot of fun. But I think on a, I guess, more serious note, I think probably one of my favorite classes besides 510, also, Emily, I can't agree, was 315 biochem with Dr. Norman. And that semester, again, I'm pre-med, so I took a lot of heavy science classes that semester to my memory. So I was taking biochem, organic 2, I was taking life cycle, I'm pretty sure, and just a lot of other science classes. So it was a lot on me. And it was getting around the third exam, like exam 3. So that was a lot of work leading up until finals. And I went to Dr. Norman, and I was asking her to give me an extension on the exam because I was like, I just can't do it. It was just a lot going on. Like I was crying every day. And I know that's really sad, but like, truthfully, like it was a lot going on. So I did ask for an extension, and she fairly told me no. And, you know, she explained why, but even after I explained to her what happened, she assured me in the meeting that, you know, even though it's a lot, you can still do it. She emailed me afterwards late at night and was just like, keep going, you know, you got it. And I think that really motivated me a lot. And I've never had a teacher do that. So that really helped. And even the morning of the exam, she still emailed me again and was just like, you know, you got it. Don't stress about it. And she knows the type of student I am. And I'm sure Dr. Combs knows the same way. I'm pretty hard on myself. And then on the exam, I think I got like a 98. So like in the end, it worked out, but it was just the fact that she had emailed me and reassured me throughout the whole entire time that I could do it. So that's probably one of my favorite memories, even though it was pretty sad. But I think that was one of my favorites.
I was going to say, shout out to Dr. Norman. She's another one of our really great faculty. I feel like she helped me so much with my the interview for the job I have now. Me and her were like calling each other, texting each other. She's great. She's awesome.
She is phenomenal. She is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you all for taking the time to share those memories and to serve on our panel. And we really hope that those that are listening and considering coming to UK and considering coming to the DHN major, that you'll also make these connections that have been talked about so fondly, and they are also going to make some of these favorite memories with us over the next couple of years. So the last 2 slides that I do have, one is about a scholarship. And so that's going to come up in just a quick second. I was going to follow up with the YDHN piece. And I think that I don't even have to say this because we've heard from the actual students and graduates that you get a lot of application-based hands-on learning, the simulations, the cooking, the health fairs, etc. You're in the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment. And if you ask anybody about that, they're going to say it's a family atmosphere and a family feel. 3, study abroad opportunities. I didn't even get to talk about study abroad opportunities. We go to Ghana, we go to Italy, we go to Australia. Currently, I'm in the works of planning, it's not even called study abroad, it's called study away trip to Hawaii for next summer. That's going to be 2 weeks learning about sustainability and mindfulness. So we've got a lot of cool opportunities that you could go travel with me, go to all these great places. And lastly, a competitive advantage when we think about the opportunity of applying to professional schools and what that can mean. Like Emily said, when it's asked about why did you do human nutrition, why did you do dietetics, you'll have a lot to talk about. If by chance you're coming this coming fall, we do have the opportunity within our college for fantastic first-year scholarships. And we do want to say that the deadline is January 15th. So if by chance for this scholarship, if you know you want to come to UK, be within DHN, the college, this freshman scholarship deadline is January 15th. And in order to be eligible to apply for this one, then you're encouraged to submit your application by December 1st. So not that far away. And so we just wanted to put that plug in there. I know some of you are not this coming fall, but and beyond. And then lastly, you have Ms. Radford's and my emails here. And I know that many of our faculty members and our student panel have put their emails in the chat box as well. Please do reach out to us. Let us know what you have.